a spectacular photo.
Yes.
I think you stole it from my photo. I'm not sure though.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah we are doing great. Oh, inshallah we will conclude our journey with Staff of Moses today, so that's the plan. We've been studying different aspects of Staff of Moses last 2 weeks, last 2 sessions, let's say. And inshallah we will go to very beginning where everything started and try to understand what Staff of Moses represents in Quran. So we already seen it in different situations. First we studied how Staff of Moses was representing, when we studied the life of children of Israel in desert, and when we saw that the Staff of Moses was used to get water, extract water out of stone. And we said the prophet would hit his staff to anything that he sees, and out of it would gush forth truth. And it wouldn't be in a way that we would rely on different causal mechanisms to explain something, but the answer would be right there in front of our eyes, right in the moment. So water would come out of the water. Instead of opening a tunnel, digging a tunnel, bringing some water behind some mountains and so on, instead of that, it would bring water just right from the stone. So for instance, we would ask how this little creature exists, and when we hit it in a metaphorical way, not literally, don't worry, Zainab. When we hit it with the Staff of Moses, it would tell us that the all qualities you see in these little creatures can be only be sourced from an absolute creator, right in the moment. So if you try to hit it with another staff, with a, what is it, the opposite of being genuine or authentic, like a fake, let's say. When you try to hit it with a fake staff, try to explain how this little creature exists, right in the moment, this staff would try to explain it through, oh, it was born from the mother, it was conceived, let's say, several months ago, one cell started multiplying, and so on and so forth. All these causal relations, as if explaining the existence of baby right now. What such a fake stuff would cause is further complications, because then you have to explain how a single cell exists, how multiplication, the action of multiplication exists, how multiplied new cells exist, and so on, so on, and so forth. Instead of explaining just one existence, it would complicate the question further by introducing many more existence. But when you hit it with Staff of Moses, it would bring the water right from the rock and will tell you the source of this creature. And then in the second session...
So before that,
please.
can I summarize this aspect of Moses as a prophetic way of looking at existence to extract meaning out of it, versus non-prophetic or fake
Mhm.
way of looking at things and trying to make sense of existence. If I try to do it the other way around, as you said, I go long distances and still not understand anything of what that is. Or rather, if I look at it with a prophetic perspective, which I am now studying through the scripture, then right in the spot, whatever I'm looking at, I can extract meaning
Exactly.
pertaining to what that is, what does this mean, why does this baby exist, so on and so forth.
And that was great because it also reminded me in the first session when we started the part 1, Water for Thursday, emphasis was more on mercy, was on more on compassion that we need. So we need mercy and compassion in life, which is represented as water in the story that we studied. So we need water in our life, and Staff of Moses, or prophetic way of looking at things, would show us the mercy and compassion again right in the moment. Instead of trying to, trying to convince us to wait. Don't worry, wait a little bit, you will see mercy one day, maybe in another life. It would show us the mercy and compassion right in the moment. And then in the second part, when we studied tyrants and magicians, we studied how different kinds of tyrants in our life try to cover up the truth, how they would do anything not to leave their thrones, not to face with the reality, and how they would ask help from some magicians. We studied different kinds of magicians in our life. One of them would be like this system of consumption. I couldn't find the word. Consume. What is it?
Consumption?
Consumption, yes. The way of consuming everything. They would tell us, don't worry, if you want to be happy, just consume, make more shopping, watch more TV, study more X, study more Y, drink some, stuff which will make you drunk. It could be alcohol, it could be
Hot chocolate downstairs.
hot chocolate downstairs,
We have a lot,
exactly.
just have to
Yes.
open it.
It could be anything which would, at least temporarily, sorry for my English, would blind your eyes and make you happy for a moment. And then how all these things would try to cover up the truth, but Staff of Moses would come, again hid all these deceptions and show us the true meaning, the truth behind everything. So that's what we studied so far, and inshallah this week we will see how everything with Moses himself started, so that we again learn something about ourselves. Just as a reminder, we're reading stories as stories of ourselves, not stories of someone who lived several thousand years ago. So let's start, inshallah. Okay. Would you?
إذ رأى نارا فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى.
So this is from Surah Taha, and it's like a famous surah which includes this famous story of Moses. It's a beautiful surah, and the English interpretation, kind of translation of the surah says, when he saw the fire and said to his family, stay here, indeed I have perceived a fire. Perhaps I can bring you a torch or find that the fire some guidance. Perhaps I can bring you a torch or find at the fire some guidance. So even the beginning is so interesting, so exciting. Little background, at least narrations said, with his family he was walking in a deserty, mountainy region in a dark night, and Moses sees a fire or light, let's say, from far, and then he says, I saw the fire, and tells his family, you should stay here, I will go there so that, maybe I can bring a torch or find and fire some guidance. Of course, you can read it as just, like an action-packed story and say that, oh, he just saw the fire, he went there, and with guidance he meant, I would find someone sitting in front of fire, maybe I could ask him where to go, and so on and so forth. You can read it that way, and then it will end there. You will have some excitement about a story. But when you think about it, some reasons that Quran narrates this story to us in this moment, in this very moment, to Birkan, who lives in Philadelphia, where nights are not that dark. I can see where I'm going and so on.
Light pollution.
Maybe, yes. Even if it is dark, I would find my way somehow because I know my path to home. You will shake your phone exactly, it will turn on the light. So, from that aspect, this story seems kind of obsolete, right? It seems like outdated. But in reality, when you think about it, when you think about light, when you think about fire, guidance, that we all need, regardless of the time that you live, regardless of the place that you live, now it becomes more meaningful. Now it becomes speaking to you. It starts speaking to you. So let's start from the very beginning. He says, when he saw a fire. So it says, it kind of implies that he was looking for a fire. He was looking for some guidance. Because he thought they were either lost or they need some light to find their ways. And he was looking for fire. Because when he saw a fire means, of course, metaphorically speaking in our case, my eyes should be ready to perceive a fire. I shouldn't be just looking, down and walking oblivious with everything around me, not aware of anything, going on. I should be looking for fire. I should be looking for guidance. And this is actually the state that is narrated in the story. So, and it continues, I have perceived the fire, he says. So what it reminds me that he is, or in my case, I should be ready for guidance. Or maybe in broader context, I should be ready for revelation. I should be ready for transformation. I should be looking for fire, light around me. Because I should be aware that I'm in a dark place. I'm in nighttime. So it is night for me. I need light. so that I can perceive light. Even with simple studies about perception, like just open any textbook on perception or vision, there are many examples that things would be just in front, what is the saying, being in front of my nose or tip of
Right
my
under
nose,
my nose.
right?
Under my nose.
Yes. Things being right under your nose, but you are not able to perceive them. There are many examples to show how human vision works and so on. In order to perceive something, you should be kind of not filtering it. So you should be ready to see it. You should be, in our case, because we're talking about the revelation, we should be ready to receive the revelation, to receive the message, to be transformed with the guidance. Otherwise, you would continue walking in the dark and you will just miss the opportunity to see the light and get the guidance. When he saw a fire and he have perceived a fire. So, and then he says,
Can I ask a question?
please go ahead.
So generally with fire, I take it more as something disastrous, something chaotic, something I should be scared of, something I should fear. Here you're using the fire as you should open your eyes to see some type of guidance or light. You're perceiving it in a good way.
So that's a great question because I thought the same thing. I'm just kidding, but I was looking at my notes. It says fire. It both hurts, like fire. It burns, but at the same time illuminates. Right.
And
So-
warms and cooks
And cooks, exactly.
torches and lanterns
Yes.
and free electricity provides heat. Yeah.
And I guess this is the case with almost every message, every guidance we receive. When you receive a message, when you receive a truth in your life, it usually first burns. Because it will tell you that something wrong in your life. Because you are not aware to see something there. Right? In your story of success, this is a phrase I recently started enjoying using. In your story of success, you are so blind, you are so unaware of things about yourself. One day, a message comes and tells you, in your case, Abdurrahman, all these things that you've been attributing to yourself, your intelligence, your hardworking, your understanding, your high grades, your high salary, your family, your children, whatever, they don't belong to you. They were there for some training, but you've been misusing them. And this message will first burn you because you cannot easily get rid of ownership, your false claims. You cannot trove them. We will see another example of troving things. And this message burns you, hurts you, but at the same time illuminates you. Shows you the bigger truth, shows you the real truth, whatever it is. Most of the messages, at least in my case, most of the messages, most of the quote-unquote revelation, I'm not equating, the revelation I get with revelation prophets get. I'm just using the word, to allude some message, given to me. When I receive these revelations, they usually first hurts, disturbs, and then illuminates. So, in that sense, I guess fire is really good example, like a good metaphor to talk about guidance. At least this is my reality. Or maybe we can say a similar thing, like sometimes I receive a message, a child, for instance. If I use it in a wrong way, just like fire, it burns. If you use your children, if you look at your child from a wrong perspective, what she or he brings is more responsibility, more duties, more their fears, more anxiety. It burns. But if you use it in the right way for cooking, for instance,
Children for cooking.
fire.
Okay.
But when you approach it from the right direction, it becomes mercy, it becomes compassion, it becomes happiness, it becomes pleasure. So, yes, he was looking for guidance, light. The question is, are we looking for light in our life? Are we aware that we are in a dark night? Are we aware that we need light? And the maybe more important question, where are we looking for the light? Because civilization, quote unquote civilization, would also provide us some light, as we see in the image. They would give us some fake lights, trying to, cover the night that we live. They would say, "Oh, look around, like it's not that bad. We have all these things, all these, funny things, pleasant things. Look at all these lights around you. Aren't they enough?"
Comfortable red Tesla.
Exactly. Comfortable red Tesla and more publication, higher salary. Oh, we will give you some more benefits. Just more, like a work more. Half an hour every day, make some, meditation, some other stuff. Just, empty your mind. If it's not enough, we will give you more vacation times. Lights everywhere. Just blinking. Trying to cover the night. Like, you see it, it's really unbelievable. Like, how perfectly designed. When you go, just one example, like it's the same everywhere, it's not only specific to US. Go to Times Square, like middle of the night, midnight. It will burn your eyes. It's so bright. Would it give you any pleasure? No. Headache, little bit. Trying to cover the night with light. But fake lights. So this is, one way to look for lights. But in our story, Prophet was not looking at light or guidance in, again, quote unquote, among lights of civilization. So the question is, where are you looking for light? Abdurrahman, where are you looking for light?
In this discussion.
In this
From you.
discussion? Another fake light. It can become another fake light, of course. Any examples, so that when we share our, let's say, deceptions, I guess it may act as warning to others. So any fake lights that you are chasing?
I look for meaning in books.
In books, many books, right? We have red Tesla there.
Mhm.
Any other examples? Where do you look for light?
Perfection.
Perfection. Your compassionate arms of your the wife.
Or in the eyes of your wife. Just
Eyes of your wife.
trying to see this
Exactly.
sparkling, nice, what's it, light in there.
Twinkle in the eye.
Twinkle.
Twinkle in the eye. Yes.
So implying that I am the right one, sort of.
If she loves me enough, I'm okay, I'm on the right path.
Twinkling.
But just like, the lights of Times Square, this twinkling of the eye also is so faint.
It's faint, temporary, and
At least that's
expensive.
fitra. This is something else.
Yes, at least that is part of it. So anyway, I guess, in short, yes, we should be looking for light, guidance, but also it's important where are you looking for lights, whether in the fake lights of quote-unquote civilization or a light of revelation, whatever it means to you. So let's continue. It says, but when he came close to it, a voice called out, "O Moses." So we see a similar narration here, when he came close to it. So you should, when you see the light, you should follow the lead. You should get close to it. You should take the step. Right? And then the message reaches you. If he stayed away, for instance, away from the light, he wouldn't be able to hear it. The same way, sometimes we see light, or sometimes we see that something is not right. Right? The way I interact with my child, the way I interact with my supervisor, my teacher, is not right. A message comes to me, a sadness, a warning, something. I start feeling it. Either I can choose, close my ears, my eyes, or get close to it, approach it. Try to listen what it tells me. And when he came close, then a voice called out. We see, this is from another surah. This is from Surah 40, which is what? Anyway, it's chapter 40. It says, "Call on to me, I shall respond to you." So, in Quran we see this kind of guarantee that when you approach, when you look for guidance, when you call, you will receive guidance. It's definite. Call on to me, I shall respond to you.
And the response is personal in both verses. In the first one, it is to Moses.
Exactly. So, yes, response is... So it will continue actually. There's an emphasis on this being personal in the following verses. So we will discuss it. And that's a great point. Oh yeah, here. So maybe you should read the Arabic then.
وأنا اخترتك فاستمع لما يوحى.
And I have chosen you. So he's hearing the voice now. There are two more verses. I just skipped them just for the sake of time. But there he was instructed to take off his shoes. Because now he is interacting with, let's say, the divine truth, he doesn't need to protect himself from the dirt of earth. He can interact with the message, he can interact with the truth directly. You don't need to put anything between you and the truth. Right? But then the message says, I have chosen you. Listen then to what is being revealed. So this I have chosen you part is interesting because first it said, you saw a light, you perceive a light, you approach to light. So you took all these steps, right? You realize that there was something wrong in your life. You realize that there is something more beyond what I, enjoy in my life. You ask the questions, what's going on? You ask for help. But Revelation says, no, I have chosen you. I took all these steps. I approached the light. I asked for guidance. What are you talking about? I have chosen you. If I didn't want to, I wouldn't come to fire. Right? This is at least our initial state. But Revelation says, no, you are chosen. All these questions, all these worries, all these anxieties, all this search for truth, this urge for searching for the truth, they all being created in you. I gave you the questions. I gave you the opportunity to approach. All you did, you just chose to approach. And then I made you go to the fire. I've chosen you. And I guess this is also a very elegant way of starting the training. Your problem, Birkan, is attributing things to yourself. Just like attributing to yourself, you're attributing things to others as well. You think the love you experience with your mother, between you and your mother, coming from your mother, partly from yourself. No, Birkan, I put love between you. I created you, and then I made relationship between two of you. This is interesting. When I first read it, I was so surprised, like such a powerful verse. It says in Surah Furqan, I guess, we created men out of water. This part can be studied separately. It's so interesting. But then it continues. And then we established, we created relationship between them through marriage or other kinds of relationships. We created these relationships. We take them granted, right? She's my child. Why? My wife gave birth. Automatically, it's my child. He's my friend. Why? He's sitting next to me. We had a friendly conversation beforehand, so on and so forth. This friendship, now I experience, attributed to myself and to him. But my Creator says, no, I'm creating it right now. If I don't create it, you won't know him. You won't take it as a friend. I have chosen you. So this is the very first message, very first training I received. I have chosen you. Everything you have, given to you. It also has different connotations as well, I guess. Like being chosen, it also, at least to me, reminds that a responsibility, a duty. Right? You are chosen, you're receiving this message, you are sad right now. Something bad happens in your workplace and you are sad. Creator says, Birkan, I sent you this sadness as a message so that you will read it. I chose you to receive this sadness. You are the chosen one. Look at your colleagues, they are not sad. You are sad. You are chosen. You are worthy of sadness. Read it. Try to understand what's going on. So it gives this sense of responsibility, duty, and also, as you said, sense of being personal. The message that you will receive, it continues as what is being revealed, is chosen, tailored specifically for you. This sadness you have or happiness you have as a message, as a divine message, is tailored for you. You are chosen for it. Look at your friend, he's not happy. You are happy. because message is yours now. Read it. So I guess you realize, like, I'm implying that every feeling that we have, every idea that we have, is a divine message that we receive. It's not, comes to exist, it doesn't come to existence out of nothing. It's not automatic, it's not, I'm not sad because my wife did something wrong. I'm not sad because, she's not smiling to me, Zainab. I'm sad because sadness is created in me. It's a created being. It doesn't exist by itself, or it's not being created by her. It is created by my sustainer. It's a message for me to read. In our story, it's a revelation that I receive. So I should try to get a guidance from it. Any comments, objections, questions?
But again, I guess taking it back to where you started with, I need to see it as a message, get close to it. Otherwise, I can simply take it as just my daughter
Exactly.
or my sadness.
Or fake lights will tell you, don't worry, Yusuf, just go to riverside, walk a little bit, and your sadness will go away. There's nothing to read. You are sad because something acts like something happened in your brain, some hormones acting this way, that way. You should get rid of it.
Replace it with something else, rather than getting close to it to understand.
Yes. Oh, you saw a fire there. Forget about it. Look at this. What is it?
Firefly here.
Yes, fire. Here's a firefly.
Take this.
It's a firefly. Oh, what is it? Like it's
Torch.
Flash.
towards flashlight. Yeah, forget about the fire there. Look at this flashlight. Enjoy, spend your time with it.
Laser.
A laser pointer. Yeah. So then Revelation continues. So it says, you are chosen, what is being revealed, and listen what is being revealed. And we said actually when he says, I have chosen you, Revelation already started. And then Revelation, the message, unpacks. Verily I alone am God. Look at the emphasis. It's like, it would be enough grammatically to say Ana Allah, right? I am Allah. But no, it says Innani. I am. I. Put in the emphasis. Don't look at somewhere else. I'm alone. Allah. And continues with the definition of Allah. La ilaha illa ana. Allah meaning, all these fake idols in your life? Get rid of them. What is left? This is me. I am the true source of everything that you experience. You thought the source of the questions about life was your brain. You thought the happiness you have in your family was your hard working. You thought success in your workplace or your classroom was good teaching skills of your professors and your hard working. La ilaha, get rid of them. And the real source, this is me. This is Allah. Negate everything else. What remains? The real source, the absolute one, which is not type of this universe, this is Allah. La ilaha illa ana. This is the crux of the revelation. This is the central message of Quran. Like, this is my personal understanding, but if somebody can truly understand La ilaha illa ana, or illa huwa, or illa Allah, he already covered the entirety of, like, the main message of Quran. The first thing Moses hears, La ilaha illa ana. So this is the guidance you need. This is the light you need. It is so important because it takes away all the anxieties you have. Before you were afraid of your boss, your professor, your wife, your children, your husband. Now Revelation says, forget about them. Forget about Zainab. They don't have any authority on you. Not the slightest one. They don't have any authority on you. Don't be afraid of them. I am alone. God, there is no deity save me. Hence, worship me alone. Worship me alone. Understand this and act in that way. When you go to work, when you go to school, when you go to home, don't forget that I am the only sustainer. Do not attribute anything to yourself, to others. I am your sustainer. Worship me. Be constant in your prayers so as to remember me. So, any comments? Please don't be shy. And then it continues, Revelation. After the Revelation gives the main message, warns him, I didn't include it here, again, for the sake of time, warns him against unbelievers, or we can take it as unbeliever side of me. Warns him, or warns us that, yes, Birkan, this is the truth, La ilaha illa ana, but you will forget it. You will forget it, I know that. So I'm warning you that there are these unbelievers in you who will try to make you go astray. Especially, it continues in previous verses, especially desires of your soul. Heva, your desires, will try to take you away from the straight path. So be aware, it says. And then it says, oh Moses, what is it you're holding on your right hand? And this is the answer. So this is the main part we will study, inshallah, these verses and the verses next to it. Anyone? Would you like to read the Arabic part if you can?
Sure. قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مارب أخرى.
He answered, it is my staff, I lean on it, and with it I beat down leaves for my sheep. And other uses have I for it. So other uses I have from it. Before I share my understanding, what do you see here? Go ahead.
Well, I guess in the theme of what we've been talking about, maybe you're attributing these things to the staff itself, right?
Yes, very good. So we start, we faced Revelation, it starts telling us the truth, and our first response is Yes, but you know, I have all these utilities, I have all these uses. You know, talking about my staff, for instance. Revelation tells me, Piran, don't you think you know, misreading your work or your classes or your, I don't know, whatever you are into. Don't you think, you know, you are misattributing things to your professors, to yourself? And you say, but, you know, my professors they have all these good qualities. They teach me, they tell me, you know, all these good stuff. When I work hard, I get these good grades, high grades. There are all these utilities.
Actually, this transition, if we question our very discussions, let's say, during the discussion we say, yeah, La ilaha illahu, and during the discussion we all agree with whatever contemplation we go through. And after the discussion, now our regular conversation starts. Oh, what's your name? Oh, I am this and that. What do you do? Oh, I work in there. What sort of things do you do there? And we say, yeah, we are trying to just develop this so that it's going to help people like that. So everything that we discussed, in theory we accepted them, but when it came to living with it, applying it, because the previous verse was saying that worship me so that you remember. So then, now I am in the real life, applying my conviction to my, for example, work, as you were saying. It's not that easy, and in practice I am failing with this, for example. I just, exactly these words I say. It's my staff, it's my expertise, I am like computer scientist, I lean on it. With this we are going to conquer the hardness of life, we are trying to make life easier for people. Eventually we are going to produce things that's going to help the disabled people, whatnot, these sort of things.
Yes.
And maybe even like the order that it does come after, you know, Allah tells him that it's only him, just to show like if this is a prophet that truly we are not above forgetting, and so that's why, you know, that's why we establish the prayer. That's the important one, right?
Fine. Anything else you see? These verses, I don't want to reiterate like things that we already know, but all these short verses, full of meaning, full of excitement, full of it's so interesting. It's a true miracle of Quran. Alhamdulillah. So another thing I see there, yes, he's maybe still talking about utilities of the staff, or I am still attributing things to my staff in my case. But also it shows that I am looking for some meaning, some purpose in my life. So I wouldn't be happy, for instance, carrying a wood if it was useless. It would be just a burden for me to carry it. If it is purposeful, if it has a utility, I can carry it and I will be happy with it. I would say at least I can lean on it. You know, I beat some leaves with it. Or many other things I do. It helps me walking. So as a human, this is what I am. I'm looking for some purpose, some utility, some meaning in my life. Everything I interact, they has to have some meaning. Otherwise, I would just deny them. I cannot happy with things if they are meaningless, if they are purposeless, if they don't have any utility. And as I see meaningless aspects of things which are given to me, all these fake lights, then I start searching for better ones. This is me as a human. I need some purpose, I need some meaning in my life. Just like Moses. He carried his staff all the way because he could lean on it. And I guess this is also being aware of this state, that you are a human being, you are not an animal. You are not a robot, you are not a stone. You need some purpose in your life, you need some meaning in your life. Everything, every single aspect of your life, every single part of your, even a staff, a dry wood, has to have many purposes, many meanings. Not only one, many. I have other uses for it as well. Even a single button, it must have many meanings, many purposes. Otherwise, you cannot be happy with it. You should be aware of this, aware of your need for purpose and meaning. Then revelation can be helpful, can give you guidance. Otherwise, you would open the book, Quran, and read some historical stories, and
Stories of the ancients.
story of ancients, exactly as Quran puts it. And what happens, as many people did, do you know what? These historical facts they don't fit to some other books. These Arabs, they think their book is full of miracles, but they don't even can fit some historical facts, whatever. If you open Quran as a book of history, you will not get any meaning, you will not get any purpose, the guidance. You will open it as a book of science, and you will find a few verses which predicts some scientific inventions, questionably. Others, with again questionably, apparently will contradict some scientific facts, whatever scientific fact means. I mean, I don't know any scientific fact. Maybe some, I don't know, faint light show me path to a fact. Anyway, you will see some contradictions, you will see some overlaps, and you will say, this is yet another book. But if you read it as a guidance for humanity, your human part,
For yourself, to Moses. To you.
exactly, you will realize that you need guidance, you're looking for light. You are in a dark night. You need meaning, you need utility, you need purpose in your life. Then Quran starts speaking to you. So we said, okay, we still attributing things to our staff, and Revelation says, throw it down. Who talked about throwing? Was it you? I said we will talk about another throwing. Anyway, Revelation says, throw it down, Moses. All this understanding you have about life, throw them. Let them go. And what happens next? He throws, and he says, so he threw it, and lo, it was a snake moving rapidly. So it's interesting, it's a snake, but the word, where is it? Hayatun, right?
Hayyatun.
Hayatun, yes, there's a missing shell. Hayatun. The root is hayat, life. And if you look for this word, the root word, everywhere in Quran, it means life or something similar. Only place it is translated as snake, it's here.
Wow.
I don't know why, it's a choice of the translator. It could be a snake, but the word hayatun, it's something about being alive, a living being. Okay? Let's continue with snake, doesn't matter. I'm sure the translator knew better than me.
And probably they're taking from Tafsir.
Yes,
right,
exactly.
in terms of context.
Mhm. But without denying this aspect, being translated as snake, there's another aspect that I want to, take your attention is being alive. Whether snake or not, it's alive. It's moving. Okay?
Previously it was a dry.
Exactly. It was a death, dry staff. This is my life, I said. My life, this is my life. It has some utility, yes. It is good for some things, but this is my life. It's dry, death, staff. Revelation was asking about my classes, for instance. Yes, it has some utility, I learn things, but I don't see mercy there. I don't see compassion that I need. It's not warm enough. Revelation was asking about my family life. I was saying, there's love there, there is, understanding each other there, but still not enough. It's not, what I'm looking for. As a human, I cannot be content with the family relationship which is, marketed to me in this era. It's not alive, it's dry wood. It has utilities, I'm not denying it. But it's a dry wood. And Revelation says, throw it. Let it go. And then shows me that it's a lively being. Because whatever you have, your classes, your work, your family life, it's a lively being. There's a life in it. And I will show you how. I will teach you how to see life that you need. I will teach you how to see compassion, mercy, wisdom that you need. So for instance, we will see one example, when Moses hits the rock and gets the water out of it. Another example we saw when he hid all these deceptions of magicians and find the wisdom there. So Revelation says, if you understand my message, La ilaha illa ana, you will see mercy, you will see compassion, you will see life that you need. The dry wood, as you see, when you let it go, meaning when you do not attribute things to yourself or others, when you realize La ilaha illa ana, only source is the creator, your sustainer, then your life becomes lively. So from this sense, Iman or belief illuminates things and gives life to life. Without belief, your life is a lifeless dry wood, staff. But under the light of belief, your life becomes a lively being. So we started this part, and then this moving rapidly is also interesting. So we see the same word, tas'aya, right? At the end of the second.
Hayyatun tas'ala.
Yes, hayyatun tas'aya. So the same word is used, like this, moving rapidly, in following verses which we studied as part of another verse, when magicians, when they threw their staff, they also looked like as if they are moving, as if they were alive, right? There, the same word would be used, but in a sense that as if. So with staff of Moses, revelation, life becomes lively and in a real sense, it moves. But when magicians, when they throw their staff and deceive you, you see it as if it's moving. It's moving. So we see this as, all these messages telling us, do you know what? Religion is just made up story. We don't need such belief. We have this and that. We have our scientific advancements to teach us the wisdom. We have our philosophy to teach us about the ethics or whatever. We human can make our lives lively. They showed us, for instance, cloning. Look at this, we can clone some apes, or I don't know if the real species of these creatures here. Human cloning. You see, we can also give life. Look at the advances in artificial intelligence. Wisdom, life. We can also give you life. You don't need all these made-up stories. So their staff, they look as if they are moving, as if they are lively, as if they are alive. But when when Moses throws his staff in front of the magicians, it swallows, right, their deceptions. So revelation comes with the real message. It says, oh great, you made all these advances in artificial intelligence, great. How about your death? You will die, you know that, right? And you say, oh yeah, but I'm working on it. Inshallah we will also make aging slower. So it reminds us that the life that you are looking for or that you are trying to get is a temporary life. It's death. The real life is the eternal life. If it's not eternal, as a human you cannot be happy. And the real source, the revelation, gives you the real life, gives you the eternal life. This is the real snake, this is the real lively being. So then it continues. Take hold of it. Don't fear. Fear not. We shall restore it to its former state. Very interesting. It was snake. Apparently Moses was afraid. In our case, definitely we are. But just seize it. Don't fear. We shall restore it to its former state. Any ideas about this point? So that I can also have a break for myself.
So for example, now I'm thinking about my work. I'm trying to make it useful in my work environment. How do we do that? We are trying to come up with, because we put a lot of effort in there, and we don't want it to be useless. So we say that we do this for humanity. We want to make it lively, so that it doesn't simply become, you publish some papers somewhere, you become famous and you die. So it sounds so dry. So we want to make it a little bit more lively, saying that, we are trying to improve life quality of people. We are helping others. Still, it sounds like it starts moving as if it looks like it's lively, the magician version of it. But then when the revelation says throw it, because this sort of mindset is not going to take you anywhere, so throw it away, but then the revelation is going to enliven it. But it's now totally changing the form now. It's not, previously it was a staff, now it became a real lively animal. It puts me into some sort of a fear. Then how about my career? How about my citation counts? How about all those publications then? Were they just for nothing? What do you mean? I have been working on this for the last 20 years. I'm trying to build up my career, and now you're telling me that you're going to throw it away? So it's fearful, something really fearful to do. Or once I see it as this lively thing, so taking it back because it's not the stuff that I used to know anymore. How am I going to handle this new perspective? Because a friend was actually, maybe this was 10 years ago, after a discussion at Penn, so the discussion was happening elsewhere, but the student was a Penn student, so they were driving back. In the discussion though, it was about like La ilaha illahu, as we have been explaining. And the guy got the message and said that, wow, but if it is like this, then what's going to happen with my career at Penn? Because I put so much effort to get into this school, and now I am working so hard to get all this stuff, working so hard. If the existence is as you are saying, then what we are doing at Penn doesn't make sense really. So shall I abandon my school career and everything because all my work, whatever I put effort so far into, which I thought to be very valuable, looking at it from this lens doesn't make any sense. So either I need to quit one or the other, he thought. So I guess a similar thing is happening in here.
And it's a fearful state, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to live now? I mean, Revelation comes with a revolutionary message, tells you that all these false idols, they are nothing. They can neither harm you nor benefit. Your boss, your husband, your wife, your parents, your friends, your whatever. They cannot either harm you or benefit. They're nothing, it says. They cannot sustain you. And you are fearful, like, what am I going to do now? How can I be friends with with these people now? How can go to work? How can I go to work and continue working there? Or my classes? What am I going to do? Am I going to just stay at home and read Quran or think? And what am I going to do? You are fearful. And Revelation says, don't be afraid. Don't worry, we will restore it to the original state, former state. Your work, your classes will stay as your work, your classes. But now you will look at them with a different lens. You will continue living as before. If you were a shepherd, you will stay as a shepherd. If you were a shoemaker, you will stay as a shoemaker. If you were a scientist, you will stay as a scientist. But now, the meaning and purpose of being a scientist wouldn't be just beating leaves for your sheep. You won't be a scientist anymore to build the best aircraft to make quote-unquote Islamic nations more powerful. You will be scientists to read my names better. You will be shoemaker, not to make the best shoes ever, or make the best profit ever, but read my names in shoes that you make. You will make the shoe to realize how you are sustained, how mercy, how compassion, how wisdom is manifested in your life. I will give you a message to read all this in your life. You will continue making shoes, but with a different perspective now. your staff will stay as staff, but you will know that it's a conscious, lively being now. And this is what Quran, in a literal sense, does, right? He says, everywhere in the creation is nothing but the creatures glorifying their maker. Everywhere you look, you will see angels. So life become full of life. Life become full of consciousness. My computer is a conscious being, manifest all these beautiful names to me. This is what Quran teaches me. I still use my computer to type things, but this time, when I type my computer, it is as if I'm playing with a cat. So it's more than a laptop now. Just like Moses' staff. It's a more than dry wood now. Another point, see? The final part is not actually part of the staff story, but I guess there's one small connection with staff. So next verse it says, now place your hand within your armpit or on your side. It will come forth white, shining white, without blemish as another sign. So he was looking for light, he was looking for guidance, and the light is given to his hand.
He was looking for a torch.
He was looking for a torch, exactly. Now his own hand is a torch, a shining flashlight. So it's interesting, like he doesn't say, Revelation doesn't say that, or in the story, Creator didn't tell him, oh, you're looking for a torch? Here is a torch, like take some fire. Or let's put a magical stone on your staff, like Gandalf. Right? No, he says, no, I'm giving the light in your hands. So it's not something external. It's given to us. And from another perspective, we can also read it, I guess, as if you're looking for light, so this is my kind of take-home message. If you're looking for lights, look for it in the hands of prophets. The message they carry with their hands. Look at the message they bring. This is the light you need. Because the light of Moses was given to his hand, in his hand. So,
I guess another reading would be, as you were emphasizing before, if I get trained with the revelation, then I will find lights from within myself, meaning that the revelation is going to train me, teach me that looking within myself, within my qualities, like the feeling of mercy or the need for mercy, or the need for wisdom or the intellect, because I have both ends of it, both the need for it and also an exemplary aspect of it as well within me. So two ends are put in me. So all of these can lead me to guidance from within myself.
yes, very good point.
I need to be trained with, as you were saying, as Prophet was trained, Moses was trained by the revelation in here, and I need to be trained by the revelation, and the prophetic tradition is, in this case, being my guide as well. So how am I going to read Revelation? This is why we are studying Revelation together. So if I go like this, then I will get guidance, in a sense, for free. It's really interesting. If you take Quran in this case as a personal guidance book, in a sense, your cycle to release yourself from all your psychological problems, you get all this for free. I mean, instead of going to an expert and pay by hour, here the solutions are for free, from within.
From within.
Yes.
From your armpit. So let's conclude inshallah here. So next semester, are we going to continue with stories, are we?
I guess so, inshallah.
Okay, so if we do, at least one part of it
3 shirts.
would be, so just as a, what is it called? Cliffhanger.
Teaser.
Trailer, yes. So we will probably not start with them. Well, we will have a part I may present. So 3 shirts of Joseph, Yusuf. So another
3 episodes.
3 episodes. Wait. So see you all next semester then. Let's conclude.
When is next semester? January?
So is this the
This
last
is far.
discussion till next term?
I think so.
Next week is the finals week.
Is it final next week?
It's up to you. I mean, sometimes people come during finals
Okay.
because they don't have classes.
I don't have classes.
Okay,
Not
Just
at
think
all.
about
maybe we can do something for next week as well. But then start with the shirt of Joseph next term, but do something for next week again. Inshallah we can.
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة